This week on Standpoint, attention shifts to Rivers State, where a dramatic political development has altered the course of an escalating crisis. The Rivers State House of Assembly has halted impeachment proceedings against Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy, bringing a temporary pause to tensions that have gripped the state's political landscape. The move follows weeks of confrontation, sharp exchanges, and deepening divisions within the state's political structure. But does this suspension signal genuine reconciliation or merely a strategic pause in a broader power struggle? That conversation begins now.
Against the governor and deputy
All right, hello everyone. I am Precious Amayo. Thank you for joining us on the program. The political climate in Rivers State has been anything but calm in recent months. What began as internal disagreements soon evolved into an open rift, culminating in impeachment notices served to Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his deputy by members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. According to the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, Martin Amewule, the decision to halt the impeachment proceedings is in fulfillment of his promise to President Tinubu. Impeachment, as provided for under Nigeria's constitutional framework, is a grave and consequential legislative instrument, one that only tests the strength of democratic institutions. Thus, this decision to halt the proceedings put an end to the political crisis in Rivers going forward. And what does this move mean for internal cohesion in the oil-rich states? Now, joining me to examine the implications of this development is political affairs analyst Lester Wilcox. Good to have you join us. He joins us in the studio.
Yeah, thank you.
And the son of Rivers State, by the way, I know that that's your state.
Bona fide, first line, what do you call it now? First line interests in the affairs of the state.
So how do you feel about this particular, I mean, the third one being halted now by the State House of Assembly? It looks like, once again, there's a relative peace, tension has been doused. So how are you and other, how do you, is it revariance? How do you,
Revariance, yes,
revariance feeling at this moment?
Yes, as a first line stakeholder, which was what I was looking for, one would be very careful in saying uhuru to the entire political logjam in Rivers State. The use of the word halt is in itself connoted with a lot of meaning. When you say something is halted, suspended, paused, it means it can be restarted. I mean, when you pause when you're playing a cassette and you pause it, you've not stopped it, you've just paused it.
But this one is not just a halt, it is also a withdrawal.
Well, if the House of Assembly would have passed a resolution withdrawing, and what I saw them do was this kind of announcement. If they had passed a proper resolution, not suspending, stopping every form of impeachment against the governor, at least for the remaining term of his, remaining days of his term, then one could say, okay, we are back to where we should be. But like you said, this is the third time in a row when we're having this back and forth. Each time there's a disagreement between the House of Assembly or within Mr. Wike and the governor. The first thing that they ignite is the impeachment clause. Nobody comes for negotiation. Nobody has a discipline for discussion. It's okay, it's impeachment.
Well,
and using it for the third time going, I mean, for me, it has made a mess of the whole,
but
the real tenets of impeachment.
We will get there, but asking them to pass a resolution saying they would not use that instrument of impeachment,
yes,
which is a constitutional instrument, yes, handed over to the legislative arm of government. You are saying they should pass a resolution to say, look, we're not going to use this instrument against the governor, I mean, in the next 1 year of his tenure. Yeah. Wouldn't that be turning the law on his head? If the governor then genuinely breaches the constitution, shouldn't they at least...
Genuinely, now, I like the word genuinely. You see, the impeachment clause was in the Constitution for a genuine purpose, where there is probable cause that, yes, the governor or whoever has gone deeply beyond his call of duty. And don't forget, it's not just within the House of Assembly. They are to initiate But of course, the chief judge of the state also have a role to play. For me, in all this happenings, all this impeachment forward and back, the chief judge, who is the real custodian of the impeachment process, has not even made any input. Remember, it was the chief judge of Ondo State that stopped that looked at the resolution passed by the House of Assembly in the case of Ayedatiwa when he was deputy governor, and said there is no probable cause for setting up of a 7-man panel. Therefore, you have not done your job, and that ended it. I would have expected that this matter would have gotten to the chief judge. Unfortunately, the governor's camp and the House of Assembly has always resorted to the courts.
But did it not get, first of all, I use the word genuinely in the context of what you were talking about,
yes,
because you sounded as though the impeachment instrument was used politically and not because the breaches were genuine. So I had to use the word genuinely,
yes,
just in the context of what you were
yes,
talking about. But this particular one also got to the chief judge, did it not? Because I understand that she refused to set up the 7-man panel because of the case was already in court at the time. So
yes, the first one never got to the chief judge. It was resolved through political means. Now, you see, when something is political, they run to political solution because they know there was no grounds. Now, what did they say? What did the speaker say? He said, based on his promise to the president. That means you are not convinced in the first instance of why you want to do that impeachment. If you are convinced, and then you allow the cases in court to go through. Of course, the governor went to court to seek an interlocutory injunction, which he obtained. They have gone to appeal. So if you truly have a probable cause, you will sit that through now, and then you will now allow the chief judge to now decide if what you have, because it will come to him and he will decide. He might say not to raise the panel. If you look at what you have brought and see that there is no probable cause for him to raise the panel, he's not bound to raise the panel. He can refuse to raise the panel because what you have brought is irrelevant, just as the chief judge of Ondo State did in the case of Ayedatiwa. So that is the process. You see, unfortunately in Rivers State, it has not been for, every onlooker, every watcher, keen watcher will say that what the assembly is doing is not the probable cause of impeachment. When you have disagreement, maybe when there's disagreement between the governor and Mr. Nweke, who is their godfather, they start with impeachment. When there's disagreement between the House of Assembly, because the last one we had was that they wanted some money from the budget. They wanted the governor to present a new budget for which they wanted some money. That's what we had. Of course, one of them, the one representing the Che constituency, said that in his one of his town hall meetings, that they wanted the 1
billion. So we are not privy to that information, so I'll take it as speculation.
Yes, no, but I'm also saying we had. So I was not in the meeting, but it was featured all over social media when they said they wanted 1 billion and they got 360 million thereabout. And they wanted the governor to do to make a budget for additional supplementary budget.
So again, like I said, for us here is speculation because we do not have that information. But go ahead.
Fine. So the next thing you hear was an impeachment move. People read the articles of impeachment, those 8 points of impeachment, and of course, it will have left to the chief judge to have looked at those 8 points and say if there is any probable cause.
But in spite of the probable cause, you're saying that whether they have probable cause or not, the president is the president of the country.
Yes.
And the leader of their party.
Yes.
Let's not forget that 17 of them in the House of Assembly now are members of the APC along with the governor. So if the president, who is the leader of the party, decides to wade in, shouldn't they accord him that respect as the leader of the party?
Excellent.
No matter how probable the cause is.
Excellent. And that is where everybody will be thanking the president for his third time intervention. Maybe if he has not intervened, it's either the state will have been in turmoil right from the first time, will have been in turmoil, or one party will have lost and the other one party will have gained, whichever side, not for his intervention. So I personally salute his intervention. Is it the best agreement that was reached? We have not seen the agreements. I'm sure you in the press have not seen the written agreement between the governor and Mr. Nweke and other people with the president. We've not seen the agreement. We're all in the realm of speculation. But what we got was the fact that, okay, the House of Assembly will stop impeachment, he should go and present budget, there should be some. So, you see, that is where, for me, this secrecy is getting too much and too uncertain for Rivers. And that's why we cannot talk specifically as to if this will be a lasting solution or not. Because the very first agreement, when this whole thing started, we saw the 8-point agreement. And a lot of people frowned at it. I did, because when two people are having a disagreement over issue, you don't give it to one person and say, you go and do this. That first agreement was unimplementable. And it was not unimplementable. Because no matter how you try to implement the agreement, it's like it was a one-sided agreement. And it was not unimplementable. And that was where there was there was a pullback from the whole thing. Now, the second agreement came. The second time it came, there was a state of emergency, and there was also some agreements. During the state of emergency, a lot went behind the scene. For instance, local government elections. The governor lost out completely on local government elections. Everybody wants to have a support for himself. Don't forget that the two contending parties have supporters. Mr. Wike has supporters in Rivers State. The governor has supporters in Rivers State. And these are people that also depend that, okay, they too should have a piece of whatever action that is going on. When you get to local government election, it was a winner take all. Mr. Wike took everything, including the governor's local government. Governors from local government.
But most of the people who won that election were APC candidates.
Hold
on, and the governor is not in the APC.
Whose supporter? I said he was not in APC anyway.
But now he is. Doesn't that structure sort of return to him?
No. But you see, the problem in Rivers State is that structure. It is so-called superficial structure. The minister's camp and the governor's camp. Now, in the local government election, the minister's camp was allocated all, including the councillors in the governor's from the local government. Even the chairman in local government is not his supporter. He's not in his camp. At least even if he has been given, his own camp was given, say 3. Okay, take Opopo, his cousin local government, which is where I come from, Bonny, which is close to Opopo. Then the deputy governor local government, which is a Che. Okay, you take these 3. Let me take the main 20. There will have been some resemblance of, okay, we are doing good, but you took everything. Now you came back, even all the boards of parastatals in Rivers State was considered by Abbas, the administrator, and everything, nothing for the governor's supporters. How do you think supporters will feel? They will urge the man that, look, this is not a good agreement. So now that they've gone to this 3rd agreement, let me hope and believe, with all sincerity of purpose, that there is a fairness in the distribution and allocation of the spoil of war. Because if there is none, you don't expect that the governor's supporters or those who are rooting for him will just go empty-handed. They want to revolt. Sometimes it may not even be the governor that will revolt. It's not those that are supporting him. Right now, you have asked him to dissolve his executive cabinet. He has 8 commissioners he's been working with. He has dissolved them. These are people loyal to him. Now, what is he going to appoint? How can the governor work with people that are strange to him? Together, they don't believe in his cause. They have a godfather that they report to. The 27 House of Assembly members report to a godfather. None of them has any affinity to him. So it is not. There has to be fairness in any settlement.
And whilst I hear you, Mr. Wilcox, doesn't that also speak to the political equity of the governor, because he's governor?
Yeah.
He has that structure was, as much as you would say, oh, they report in quotes to Wiki. It's not how you manage that political structure within the state that it depends. I mean, some people would literally defect from, their loyalty from one governor to another because of how they have managed
I agree
that
with
political structure. Doesn't that also speak to the fact that, look, his political prowess also needs to be worked on?
I agree with you completely. If you ask me, from when Similai Fubara became governor, from how he became governor, I knew, I told those who care to listen, that there would be a problem very soon. I wasn't expecting the problem so quick. I was expecting that the problem would come maybe 3 years into his administration. But the problem manifested so fast because I understand that the condition under which he was working was like a cage. His then chief of staff was appointed for him. His chief security officer was appointed for him. How many commissioners? He has input in about 2 or 3. The other ones were all appointed for him. He was not a politician. He was a civil servant. A civil servant is all his life, I am directed to It is those of us that work in private sector that we know the element of taking responsibility. In the civil service, it is what you are directed to do that you do. So he came from that. He was not tutored in politics. So when he came in and he thought he could have also muscled his way through, but that backfired. So he was a bad politician. He wasn't a politician at all. So that ambition backfired, and that is why he was not able to get enough ground support.
Let me put you on hold. I want to return to this conversation because I think that's the crux of the entire matter and all of the tension we're seeing in Rivers State. So we'll take a break now, and when Standpoint returns, we'll talk more on what now seems to be the latest political intervention coming from the presidency and relative peace in Rivers State. Stay with us, everyone. All right, thanks for staying with us, everyone. You're watching a Standpoint. We'll be talking about the withdrawal of the impeachment notice by the Rivers State House of Assembly, that impeachment notice against the governor and his deputy. We've been speaking with a first line, as he describes himself, first line Rivers State stakeholder, and he's from Rivers State. And also he's a political affairs analyst. He is Alexander Wickles. Thanks you so much for staying with us.
Thank you for having me.
So we're talking about the political prowess of the governor. Yes. in the last 3 years. Yes. He worked with Wike for, I think, a term?
Yes, he worked with him as his accountant general.
And one would have thought I would have learned something whilst working with Wike. But let's look at this particular issue. It's political. Some would say, look, he fought too quickly. That it wasn't a wise thing to fight too quickly. Yeah. You could have at least secured a second term.
Yes.
Before you want to get out, of that box. I don't want to use the word cage. Of that box you think you were put in. I mean, I was speaking to his political prowess that you should wait to get your second term. If at all you feel like you were in a box.
Well, he was not taught politics 101 by his godfather.
But there are lots of examples to learn from around the country.
Well, like I said, because he's a civil servant and he spent all his time within the confines of the civil service structure. And so he never thought, maybe he never thought he was going to be governor. And again, like you say, when he became governor, he didn't understand because even Wike told his adversaries, those who were against him, that you think a governor is a small boy, that when he descends on you with a red pen, then you will know. He didn't go and ask him, Oga, how does the red pen work? Like you said, he fought too quickly. Maybe he got there and his instinct, his personality, maybe the things he was asked to do. For instance, like you said, it's speculation. We are told that some of this was about money. Maybe he got there and he got that, I cannot be mortgaging the interest of River State in this way. Maybe. And he felt, no, this is not right. Let me do the right thing. Or maybe
he also had poor advisors.
Or maybe he felt, or maybe those are maybe those are around him. But again, don't forget, he was surrounded by. Remember when 13 commissioners resigned, loyal to Mr. Wike. Out of 17 commissioners or thereabout, 13 were not with him. During the period that he started work, I never saw him speak. I was only seeing the commissioner for works. I was always seeing the commissioner for work and other commissioners carrying out projects. I didn't hear the governor in most instances. Yeah, he's not a good public speaker. So he was like existing but not existing. So maybe some people will have gingered him up. Okay, you're a governor now. And he didn't sit down to learn how to be a governor. Listen, his godfather learned very well. I'm sure he learned well, and he didn't want what he did to others to happen to him. See, in River State, we've had the unfortunate event that every successive governor fights the other one. Pete Odili fought at the judge that made him deputy governor. Ran at the judge out of River State. What happened between himself and Amechi? Amechi was his boy. Amechi fought him. Took Pete Odili, an almighty Pete Odili, that when he speaks in the days as governor, he can only be equated to Asiwaju of Lagos, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our current president. He's such a powerful governor, but after him, Amechi ran him out of relevance. This Wike was Amechi's boy. Right from when he was to become a local government chairman. What did he do to Amechi? He fought Amechi to stand still. In fact, even though Amechi was a minister, He will have run out of the state to like Odili did to the other judge. That's as if the unfortunate event. So Mr. Wike has learned it very well. So he took somebody that he knows is a total novice and a weakling in terms of political activities. So he was not able to. He was only able to get 4 House of Assembly members on his side. In a House of Assembly of 32, 4 is an insignificant number. How did he get the 4? Okay, Edison, who was the minority leader, and his colleague who was in SEM, then his own House of Assembly member, and his cousin House of Assembly member, that is Bonny. And Bonny and Opopo in Rivers history are brothers. So he took that of Opopo, that of Bonny. So these are the people. He wasn't even able to get the hand done next to him. So he will have done some grand homework very well to get at least 10 House of Assembly members, 10 to 12. If Governor Fubara had had 10 to 12 House of Assembly members, the game will not be like this. 10 to 12. That is, you can't get to two-thirds majority to impeach him. The game will not be this way. But like you said, he acted too fast. Or maybe he was overwhelmed by the demands he was made on. And whatever happened behind the scene, none of us can tell.
The tone he's now striking, what do you make of it? Because he won this Telegraph Man of the Year, I think it was, and he spent time talking about how Wike made him governor and how he's grateful. He never thought he would be governor. And, more like eulogizing the former governor.
Well, that is in line with the agreement they've reached. Of course, he has also talked about Wike not wanting to give him his kidney. He cannot give him his kidney. That was his last statement sometime in the party, talking about the bargain dog. And see, these are politicians, politics. They have reconciled. The interest of every Rivers man is that, look, let there be peace in Rivers State. If Governor Fubara today wants to rule on the floor of Aba Road or the floor of Harbour Road or Agri Road in praise of Wike, Nigerians, Rivers people will not be bothered so long as they do not have a recurrent of uncertainty. But again, what I would say is the fact that what is the agreement that they've reached? Does it accommodate the two camps? Now, Fubara is in APC, assumed a leader of the APC in Rivers State, as by APC mode of operation, modus operandi. Is he going to allow to be exercised that? Today there's an election in Rivers State, by-election in two House of Assembly seats. Remember what happened in that the nomination? They all went to the Wike faction, the Wike supporters. So is there genuineness now that Governor Wike, Minister Wike, that is always singing Enyendeba, Enyendeba? That is, if you give this side, you also give this side. That has been his mantra. Is he also ready to live to his mantra of Enyendeba, Enyendeba? Because you cannot say it is his camp or his supporters will take everything, and the governor's camp and supporters get nothing. The governor's camp will revolt. It may not be the governor that will steer the revolt. It is his people, because nobody wants to be let out of. Rivers is a very juicy state. Don't mind that we are here in Lagos struggling in the private sector to make our lives. None of us is interested in what happened in Rivers State. We have about 2 minutes left, and I wanted to ask, because a lot of people will say, look, where the challenge might be, the red line would be whether he's allowed to run for second term or not, and maybe that would be something that would become a problem. That certainly would be.
As we approach 2027.
Yes, I don't know, because I understand from the discussion, the president said it's immature. Nothing is immature. Nothing is premature as far as 2027 is concerned now. Anybody that is not putting his foot right for 2027 as at now is not serious. So that again might bring an issue. Because it might bring a big issue, because the fact that River Rhine, he is from River Rhine. The upland has done like 24 years as governor of River State. This is the first time that the judge talk, the River Rhine is having their taste. So you cannot say he should just do one term and go away. What is the agreement? So the Rivers people must know, because every Rivers man is interested that the jog stock will complete at least 8 years. So do you want to now go and bring a new person from the River Rhine stock to say, because you don't want Fubara to become, so you can't bring a new person? How would Rivers people accept it? So there must be some goodwill. My own is, these are two eminent sons of Rivers State. Wike is an eminent son of Rivers State. Give it to him. He was a governor, he was a local government chairman, he's now twice a minister in Nigeria. So he's not a mean man. Governor Fubara is the governor of Rivers State as of today. So he must be given that same privilege and responsibility that every other governor has gotten. Every governor in Rivers State did 8 years. Odili did 8 years, and Mechi did 8 years, and Wike did 8 years. So why should he come to Fubara and say because he didn't obey you, he should not do 8 years? No, it doesn't happen. Let him be. Let the environment be made conducive for him. He's in APC. Let him be conducive for him to finish his 8 years now. Then power can go back to anywhere he wants to go back. And one thing about politicians is that they are too much in a hurry. See, if everybody has been like President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that left office in 2007 and only to become president in 2023, okay. How many years has gone? What was he doing? Planning and strategizing. So Mr. Wike can wait for 8 years. He's still a young man. Let Fubara just finish his. He can now regroup and do what he wants to do, so that there will be peace, tranquility, and unity in Rivers State. Right. That's what we need from Rivers State as it is now.
First line stakeholder of Rivers State.
Even though I live in Lagos. And,
that almost sounds like second line, but we'll call it
No, because I'm always in Port Harcourt.
No problem. We'll give it to you. First line stakeholder of Rivers State and political affairs analyst, Lester Wilcox. A pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me. It's always my pleasure.
Right. We'll continue to see how things play out in Rivers State. Right now, there is a relative peace. Whether it is sustainable or not, it remains to be seen. But that's our show for today. You can watch a repeat broadcast of this episode tonight at 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. Remember, the views of our resource persons are theirs and have no connection with TVC News. Thanks for watching. I am Precious Amayo.